Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Catherine Soares. I'm a global real estate advisor with Premier Sotheby's here in Sarasota, Florida. And today is May 8th in the year 2025. So I wanted to do a quick market update because we're seeing on the ground changes. And are these changes in the market? Are they changes in, for example, buyer behavior? There's a lot going on. So I think that the numbers will ultimately help us decide. So as of today, May 8th, 2025, there are 3,403 active listings with a Sarasota mailing address. So this includes timeshare. It includes rackaminiums where you can leave your boat in shelter. It includes pretty standard houses, modern houses, condos, villas, townhouses, and the most beautiful and luxurious properties you can imagine here in Sarasota. 3,403 as of May 8th. That is down. So we're down about 70 listings from when I did this 2 weeks ago. Not a huge drop, and it's been the end of season, so in some ways it's not surprising. That represents about 17 contracts per day. Again, that is looking very normal for this time of year, 17 contracts a day. Now, that gives us 200 days of inventory. So that's down as well. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a buyer's market, right? Um, but it's coming down, or it has come down. So we're going to see what happens as we progress into the summer. There were, of the 249 properties that went under contract in the past 2 weeks, 35 of them had price reductions. Okay. So that's less, no, that's more than 10%. My math is wrong. It's been a long week. I've been on a training course all week and I'm a little bit fried, but it's all good. It's all good stuff. The average days on market. Now, this is interesting. The average days on market before going under contract is currently 83. So for the properties that went under contract in the past 2 weeks, the average days on market was 83 days. Now this is up. This is up quite a bit from before, which was 72, and it was staying around the 70s in the 70s for quite a while, so for about a year, really. Well, I say that. Let me roll back and look, because as you can see, I'm looking at my numbers just above. So a year ago, let's see, May 2nd in 2024. So there were only 2,432 active listings versus 3,403. There were about 19 contracts a day versus 17 right now. There was 128 days of inventory versus 200 now. And of the overall listings, my price reductions, I was doing them on the gross rather than, like what went under contract. So we can't really use that. Days on market 73 versus 83 now. And what else has gone down is the sale price or the listing price to sale price ratio. So it has consistently in the Sarasota area for about as long as I've been tracking these numbers, and I started tracking numbers back during COVID, so almost 5 years. Um, it was pretty consistent around 96%. Last time I did these numbers 2 weeks ago, they had dropped to 95%, holding steady at 95%. So compared to a year ago, we have more inventory, right? Contracts per day, roughly the same, but that's yielding more inventory, right? Because there is more inventory. Um, Average days on market has gone up quite a bit, and the sale price to the listing price has gone down a point. So all this continues to point in the direction of a strong um, buyer's market, right? So as a seller, and again, the majority of properties going under contract are under 400,000 or over $1 million, and that's because cash buyers, right? Now, it's not just interest rates. Interest rates went above 6% 3 years ago, right? So that's not what's driving all of this. In our particular market in the Sarasota area, we have a large percentage of what I call discretionary purchases. So these are people who don't need to buy, don't have to buy. Maybe they're pre-retirement, but they're getting close. They want to go ahead and secure something, or they've already retired and they're thinking, well, the neighborhood I moved to is now 8 years old. I want to move to the brand new neighborhood. See that kind of thing too. But they're not moving. They're not moving because the stock market is still lower than it was 6 months ago. And there's still a lot of change happening. And that makes people uncomfortable, right? That makes markets uncomfortable. So people are waiting. And the only way we're really going to see this out, because nobody's got a crystal ball, right? Is we're just going to have to watch as summer progresses as it comes in. Now, we typically also, after June, when everyone goes on holiday and after the 4th of July, we usually see an uptick in sales. We see that because people who live locally and either work in the service industry during season or they're full-timers in some way, but they have children, their children are out of school. They want to get them into the school, a new school or into a new home before school resumes in the autumn. So we'll see usually an uptick in the summer months, and then it goes down again for a little bit. We might see an uptick around October contracts, and then closings in November until the following season. So all we can do is watch together, see what happens next. It is definitely exciting times. It's different. And again, some of the numbers are holding pretty steady, and others are once again reinforcing that this is a buyer's market. And if you have a property to sell and you're not getting showings, you're not getting offers, you probably need to consider adjusting your price or improving your home, improving the product. So, if you have any questions on real estate in the greater Sarasota area, and by that I mean from Palmetto all the way down to Punta Gorda, do give me a call at 941 928 1187. And you have a glorious day.